Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Drizzy and Morgan Show. Morgan Heights in the building. My special guest today, Callum Sunderson, is here representing fully. You know, like that. This guy here, yeah? Bro, what are we going to do? What when he leaves? Like, Drizzy's going to replace him.
I mean, a phone call is not too difficult. We've got the technology now.
You know, like that. You know,
big up Drizzy as well.
Man. Well, fuck Drizzy, man.
Wow, that's dark.
We love Drizzy. We love Drizzy. Shout out to Drizzy. You know the vibes.
He ain't gonna be happy when he sees it. Drizzy has nothing to do with it, bro.
Callum, good to see you, man. Good to have you here. I've been an admirer of you from day one because pause.
Why?
How can I articulate myself? It's crazy. That was yeah. I gotta relax. You know, like when you supported someone from day one and you've seen them grow. Pause as well. You see people grow is mad. See people grow. Seeing people develop into where they, especially with their content, seeing them develop into where they are today. I remember actually when you first started doing your show, it was a podcast.
Yeah.
And you was doing it from a building. It wasn't like how you used to do, how you do it now, which is like StreamYard or whatever, however you connect. Yeah. You didn't have to be at home. You could just do it, move around. And I remember the show developing into what it is today. And I was so gassed because I feel like when you support a club and you've got a channel and a team of people that actually dedicate themselves to it. Because I'm going to keep it a buck. Like, I don't know everything. And I need sometimes to go online and just go check out the man them and find out what's happening. Yeah. Okay, look, this is what's happening with transfers. Yeah. I'm not sitting there all day, every day looking at the La Liga or looking at the book. Like, I'm just here for the information, support my club, buy my shirts, go to the games, boom, boom, boom. So what I wanted to ask you is, how did your journey start with Team Kop-ish and how did you become a Liverpool fan in the first place?
Okay, so Liverpool fan, the first ever game I watched, so my brother's a Liverpool fan, my brother's older than me, but he's not massively into football.
Right.
But I always knew he supported Liverpool, but he never was like, you got to support Liverpool.
Okay.
So the first game I ever watched live as a child was Liverpool versus Arsenal when Fowler scored the hat-trick in
Jesus. Cold.
I watched that game and I was like, who's this Liverpool team? I heard the atmosphere, the roar. And I must have been only about 3 or 4 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's me. Like, I just love everything about it. Fowler become my favourite player off the back of that.
So that was your introduction.
That was my introduction. And then from there, obviously, you start watching games every week. Like, fortunately, my brother would let me watch the games. Mum would let me watch the games in the house and stuff. So then you become more and more. I knew I was a Liverpool fan when I saw Liverpool lose and I started crying as a child.
Right,
that's
real.
And then my mum obviously, old school Caribbean, cussing me off, say this.
Where are your family from?
Jamaica. So you know.
You Jamaican, Joe? You're Jamaican.
No, I'm Colombian. Sorry, carry on.
So like, I knew, like, I was like, why am I so emotional about this thing that I've got no control over? And like, okay, I must be a Liverpool fan. I must be a football fan. And then over the years, I just got more and more into it.
Right.
I've always played football.
Okay.
As far back as I can remember.
What position? Pause.
I started off as a striker.
Yeah.
And I quickly realised I'm not Robbie Fowler.
Right.
Started playing in midfield. And
right.
That's where I kind of always played.
That's dope.
Yeah. But I'd never say, the way I like to speak about myself in terms of footballing sense, I could play at a semi-pro level, but I was never semi-pro in terms of consistency.
Okay.
So I could have a fantastic game one week, and I could have a game which is an average game.
Right.
If you're semi-pro and above, your consistency is off the chain. I think that's what separates your semi-pros, your pros from people like me.
Of course.
You can have those games where you compete with the semi-pros, but next week you could have a game where you just look completely outclassed. So I've always enjoyed playing football. got to play with some good players over the years as well. Still kept in contact with. And then in terms of kop-ish now, it's weird how it all came together.
How did that all start?
So I was doing my own thing, and me and Matt go to the same barbers.
Right.
So my barber is, again, a good friend of my brother. So he's known me all my life, and he's a Liverpool fan as well.
Right.
So whenever I'm in the barber shop or I'm with him, we're talking Liverpool.
Right,
You know your stuff. Like, even though you're younger, you know your stuff. And I was like, nah, I study this. Like,
right.
So in there, me and Matt now, we'd never met or anything. So he was like, oh, Cal, that's Matt. He's a Liverpool fan as well. Started vibing, started speaking. And Matt was like, oh, we got this show on YouTube. I was like, oh, what's it called? I'll subscribe. It's a football banter show at the time. Watching the show is all good, all good.
I just had deja vu, by the way.
Oh, is it a football banter show?
No, I just had deja vu with
all of this?
Crazy.
So then watching his show now, and then we lost the Champions League final in 17-18.
Yeah.
I saw Drifty's run on Carrius.
Right, yeah, my bro.
So I watched it.
Broski.
I was like, this brother's crazy. Like, I knew I was a fan, but he's insane.
Drifty is insane.
He's nuts.
I remember when I used to watch the show. Sometimes I'd be like, Drifty is like it can actually change his whole mood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does. It does.
Like fully.
Yeah.
I know it does. It does to me.
Yeah, but
we can kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shrug it off to an extent.
Yeah.
Not with him. It can ruin his weekend. Fully.
That's crazy.
So I saw the rant now and I was like, I'll support the channel still, but I don't know. This Drifty guy seems like he's mad. Here's how life's crazy. This is how I say God works in mysterious ways. Yeah?
Talk to me.
So one of my friends worked with the Cheeky Sport podcast, so Big J, like Joel Bayer and all that.
Yeah.
So me and Jay go to the same bars, but I've known Jay since I was 16 through a mutual friend as well.
Right.
He's like, Cal, we always speak about football. Why don't you come down to the studio and record? And I was like, bro, I don't do that. And he's like, Cal, you'll be fine. I was like, bro, I don't want to be in front of camera. I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
We'll speak here and that's it. And he's like, look, just trust me. Convinced me for about 3 months. Went down there, did a show, and like I enjoyed it. And he was like, "You're gonna come back again?" I was like, "Nah, it was one and done for me." It was like, Cal, like people like what you were saying. It was fun. I was like, cool. Invite me down. I get there now. Bear in mind, I work in North London at the time, so then I'm getting trained over there to where their studio is. Who do I see there sitting there? Drifty. So I'm like, oh no.
What?
I'm here with the madman.
What?
Like, so Drift, here's the thing with Drift. Drift is very kind of reserved and quiet until you get to know him.
Yeah.
So like, obviously he come up to me, he's like, Callum, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And he spudded me and all that. Cool. Did the show, laughing and joking. So obviously through that build up a little bit of camaraderie.
Yeah. So
like, after the show now, he's like, oh, you want to get a bite or what we doing? And I was like, I've got to get home, you know. That's that's mad.
Getting a bite is mad. But sorry.
I did protect myself too early. I did shield the ball.
I stopped the flow. My bad.
So he was like, look, I'm going back to South. Like,
right.
I'll drop you on the way. And I was like, no, I don't want to take you out of your way. And he's like, no, bro, I assist. Like, bruv, so in the car we're just chatting. Imagine during the car journey, I get an alert on my phone. I was like, we just signed Fabinho. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Right then, yes.
I was like, Drift, we've just signed Fabinho. And he's like, what, we've been linked with him? I was like, no, he's sitting there in a Liverpool kit. So we were in the car laughing and joking, being like, we just lost the game against Real Madrid, but we signed Fabinho.
What?
So from there now, obviously, I tell him how me and Matt know each other.
Right.
So then we stay in contact. So I'm still doing my show, my Sunderson show with MMA and all that. All my camera equipment got stolen.
Shit.
I'm talking about broke into my car, took everything.
A lot. Yeah,
everything.
That's crazy.
So I told Matt and Drift what was going on. They were like, look, try and go for insurance and all that. Nothing came of it. So we were starting to do content a little bit together at the time. So I put my stuff on hold, started to do content a little bit. So in the summer of 18-19, so before the season started, they went for a rebrand where they changed from Football Banter Show and just wanted to make it a Liverpool centered channel.
Right.
So they just sat me down and was like, look, would you be on board with like joining the team? And I was like, I was taken aback.
That's
I was like,
dope.
Like, if you want me to, like, look, we kind of wanted to invite you onto the team for a while, but like we didn't know what your schedule was like and all that. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. But I said to them straight, I was like, look, if me joining the team makes anything go bad, or the fans don't,
they don't take to it.
I'm gonna step back because I don't want to ruin what you guys have built.
Facts.
I remember the first show. A lot of people don't know this. So me and my missus were living at a flat at the time.
Yeah.
The only space I had to film with like a clear background in the house was the bathroom.
Right.
So I filmed my
Which is
first
why
video
sometimes the youths would come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this
yeah.
is before we had kids. So the only space I had at the flat was the bathroom, where it was a plain background.
Right.
So my first like 5 or 6 videos was me in the bathroom.
That's crazy.
With a light on top of the camera. Mad. So, so filming now.
Yeah.
I went on. I did the first video, sent it to Drifty, upload. I'm thinking, yeah, I can't wait to see the comments, bro. The first comments were crazy. They were like, "You brought this guy on again," and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "I didn't think I was that bad the last time." Like, then another person was like, "See, if you're gonna change to a Liverpool channel and bring this guy," and I'm gone. And I was like,
"Oh wow!"
I was like, "Okay." So like, I said to Matt Drift, I was like, "Guys, the comments ain't looking too good."
Yeah, bro, it's P guy.
So they were like, "No, just give it a bit of time."
Right.
So I just thought to myself, look, I might not be the most talented in the room, but I'm gonna outwork everyone.
Right.
So I just started just working and working.
And that's what I've noticed, Callum. And it's crazy because what I'm trying to say to you is not in any shape or form taking anything away from Drift and Matt. But it's weird how you came into the fold, pause, and it's like now you're very confident. You're the guy I look to be honest with you. Like, just because I feel like you know exactly what is needed to present a show. Yeah. And Drifty's the same. Drifty's cold with it. Matt is cold with it. But it's you just give a presence on the show that I'm just like, rah. Even when you sat here and we was talking about certain subjects, just that the way that way you talk and articulate yourself is important.
I appreciate
and I just feel like since you've kind of laid down the law and put yourself into that position, I'm just like, I enjoy it, bro. It's like, I want to know what the man them have said about this game. I want to know about what the man them are saying about the future and things that I just don't know about in football, especially when it comes to the team. I respect what you're doing, brother.
I appreciate it, man.
I respect it fully. Like, I'm locked in. Like, it's what the kop-ish man them are on, bruv. Yeah. It's that simple.
I think I've been quite fortunate. So I've always tried to put myself in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
I've got to come out of my comfort zone and figure out a situation. So I used to be, as a child, I was quite shy growing up, and I thought, okay, as I get older, I'm going to have to get out this shyness a little bit. So I'm going to have to start speaking in public and stuff. So
Facts.
I started doing public speaking courses and all those sort of things.
Real talk, real.
Just, I would put myself in situations where I know I'm not comfortable, but I've got to figure it out.
Yes.
And I think over the years, that's kind of just helped me. Even now, like, people won't realise, but even now when I'm about to go live, I'm like, okay, especially if it's a really controversial topic, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I articulate this well. And I've only got one shot at this because you go live in it. So I was like, if I get it wrong, I've got to be prepared to get it wrong and apologise and then reconcile from that as well. So I think I've become more comfortable with making mistakes and from there dealing with the mistakes, because I know I'm always going to get something wrong. So when I do, I've got to be man enough to be held accountable for it, get called out for it, and then apologise for it, and then try and rebuild from there. So
I say that to say, what are the main obstacles that you faced over that period of time leading up to today?
Time. We we were speaking before we started.
Yeah.
So from the start of kop-ish to today, me and my missus have had 3 children.
It's crazy.
And we've moved house.
Mad.
Went through COVID.
Yep.
And a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, yes, a lot.
So in that period alone, it was just crazy because our first son was born in 2019.
Right.
Then, so 2 weeks before the Champions League final, he was born.
That's crazy.
So literally 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, so he was born in the May, but we had bought the house in the April before he was born.
Right.
With the
moving yard and that, bro.
So we were meant to be in a new house in May. He came early. We didn't actually move into the new place until February the following year. Because the builders messed us about.
Wow.
So we were paying mortgage and rent at the same time. I was finishing, and I was doing a 9 to 5. So I was finishing work, driving from work to the new house, decorating, driving home, helping the missus out with the little one.
Yep.
Going bed late, waking up and doing the cycle all over again.
All with running the show.
As well as doing the show as well. So time's always the hardest thing. Even now, three little ones. the 2 boys go to school now, so that's not too bad. But
Yeah.
my daughter's just started nursery, so
yeah.
again, got to juggle all of that. The
Yeah.
missus is working. I've recently gone full time doing content,
Right.
which has helped, but also that brings the financial strain because my money's now dependent on the shows and other things I'm doing. So it's tough, but for me, I've just got to grind away.
I think you'll just be fine. I feel like
Got to make it work.
we were talking about it before. When you're passionate about something, you make it work.
You have to.
Because working for someone else ain't really the thing, bruv.
I've said this, so I'm glad you said that as well, because I was speaking to my nephew about this and he was like, what made you do it? And I just said to him, I was like, look, we're only on this planet for a short time.
Facts.
Some of us have a little bit longer than others. Some of us, unfortunately, go quicker than others as well.
Facts.
If I'm doing something that I enjoy doing and it's work,
Yeah.
then I'm not going to see it as much as work.
100%.
And I've done the corporate jobs and all that.
Yeah.
And work for, and like, yes, it brings in a secure paycheck.
Exactly.
But one, they can get rid of you when they want. I've been made redundant 3 times in my life. They can get rid of you when they want. Sorry.
Yep.
And you're not passionate about it. You're not enjoying it. So does that money really mean as much?
100%.
So I'd rather be happy doing what I'm doing, and then hopefully I'm happier at home around the kids and the missus, and then everyone's happier from there.
Because as the man of the house, your energy is the most important energy.
Yeah, it has to be. I've got to make sure I'm putting them in as comfortable situation as possible.
Yeah.